Hey guys, this is Jay Calder with Jay Unboxing, here giving you a personal prediction for Devin Haney versus Vasyl Lomachenko. And as always, this is just my take, of course. Your predictions can be left down in the comments section below. Would love to hear them all, especially about this fight, a very polarizing fight. A lot of different opinions and different variables going into it. So I'd love to hear all that down in the comments section below. And a little bit of fight info here. We have Haney taking on Lomachenko. This will be at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada, airing live on ESPN in the lightweight division with Haney's Ring Magazine, IBF, WBA, WBC, and WBO titles on the line. Now, this is a very good fight in my opinion. It certainly has the makings of it, to say the very least. In a lot of ways, the winner is somewhat expected. We kind of get a general sense of who most people think will win this fight. That being said, we have a very live dog in this one as well. Is this fight coming at its very peak had they fought, say, a year or two ago? Maybe not, but it's still a damn good fight, and the winner has so many major options at 135 pounds, provided the winner, of course, can continue to make that weight. Truthfully, the loser still has a few options as well, considering how loaded 135 pounds is. So, does Haney remain perfect as a professional and retain his gold, or will Lomachenko regain his past glory at lightweight? Let's break this one down. Starting with Haney. For Haney to win, I think you want to dominate with the left. You have such a wide variety of left-handed shots that you can perform really well. Of course, that means you should use them. It's pretty obvious there. Hooks can work as a counter, as sort of a check left hook, especially when Lomachenko's trying to close the distance, considering he is going to be at a reach disadvantage. This will give you a really good chance to kind of land that sort of shot. You can also jab really well upstairs as well as to the body with it. That'll be something, of course, to kind of work into this fight as well. You can kind of switch it up and keep him guessing as he tries to close that distance and erase some of that range. And of course, this will also neutralize a lot of the movement and work he's looking to get done because he simply doesn't know sort of where those safe zones are, if you will. The more you can vary that lead hand and of course use it to set up that right hand as well. I would also say make the inside fight ugly. Loma prefers a kind of cleaner fight, especially in this case when he's going to need to get inside in range and get some of his work done due to the fact that you have that reach advantage. For the most part, you will actually win that battle from the outside because of that reach and the fact that you have comparable speed and skills and so on and so forth, and maybe even are leading in a lot of those categories. On the inside is Loma's best chance, and you want to make sure you're not giving him that. When on the inside, you're going to want to push him, tie him up. You're going to want to use that forearm to just kind of disrupt what he's looking to create on the inside. This will, of course, also push him back, allow for you to reset and get some of your work done as well. Of course, he's going to look to try and make sure that he at any point can stop this from happening, but that's on him. The onus for that is on him. You are trying to make this fight ugly when it benefits you best. On the outside, you kind of want to keep it a little cleaner. Jab, again, use that left hand, but on the inside, you do really well to kind of messy up a fight enough that they can't get going against you and allow for you to kind of regroup, take a step back, and get back to work. And finally, I would say place your shots well. You do a pretty good job of this, but it's certainly something you're going to need to do against the fighter in Lomachenko who can be a bit more technical at times. From the outside, this is really where you'll shine, I think. You're quick, you have high IQ shot selection, and you can score from that longer range. Again, as I've mentioned before, you want to vary the attack to get that right hand involved, and you want to do this by sometimes going to the body, just, again, keeping him guessing. This will do things like obviously score, but of course it will just allow for you to get more into a flow, get more into a rhythm, and the better you do that as a sort of rhythm fighter in a lot of ways, the better you're going to have success in this fight down the stretch. This also will make Loma shell up a bit more, as he doesn't like to get into too many exchanges. He's more of a fighter who wants to be able to kind of fight at the tempo and pace he wants and dictate those terms. When you can take that play away from him, you'll have your best chance of beating him on the night. Switching over to Loma, for Lomachenko to win, I think you want to lead with the left. In some ways, you have to argue that this is kind of a battle of left hands. However, Loma has to be trickier with his shot because, quite frankly, he's going to have to try and make it work from a bit further out than Haney, in the sense that their advantage in reach goes to the American. One way in which he can do that is by leading with the left hand, where he can kind of offset the expected tempo that Haney might have for it by coming with it first as opposed to the jab. Of course, mixing in jabs will work as well, but keeping him guessing in that respect will work well. It'll catch Haney by surprise, and it can also work after that jab sets him up by just pushing him back more and more and making it a little safer for you if you're Lomachenko to come inside. Once he starts expecting that jab, you throw the left and vice versa. It makes it a lot easier to mix it up if you lead with the left first, though, because again, it's something I don't necessarily think a fighter is always expecting, especially early on in the contest. I would also say land something meaningful. It will be important for Loma to make the bigger man respect him and his pop and make him feel as though he can't just walk him down the entire fight. He has to be able to land a few telling shots early, the earlier the better, so that this way it sets a precedent for you have to at least respect what's coming back at you. You're not the biggest puncher if you're Loma, but you have to be at least respectable in the power shot department. If not, Haney will walk in, he'll walk backwards, he'll do what he wants in this fight, and you just can't have that. It also helps you set up overall pacing and the real estate of the fight. If you're able to land those shots and maybe make Haney back up a bit more than he wants to all of the time, because he does like coming forward from time to time, this at least allows for you to build up some head of steam and some momentum and come forward. When you're doing that, the lead left hand is going to be landing, the jab will be pushing him back, you start using those angles a lot more, and this will all lead to you having at least a better chance of winning this fight going forward. I would also say stay busy on the inside. You can't let Haney tie you up. You just can't. That's what he's going to try to do. He's going to try to neutralize your work. Naturally, that's going to benefit him if he does. Instead, you have to find different ways, both physically and gamesmanship, whatever it might be, to stop that from happening. You'll need to complain to the referee if it happens. You need to make him aware that this is going on. Even if the ref doesn't do anything, that at least might frustrate Haney, that might bother him some, and at the very least buy you the time necessary to get free and get back to work. If the referee bites for it, naturally, you're going to change a little bit of the style of the fight, and that's only going to benefit you. Another way of doing this is, of course, digging to the body. You can do this for a number of reasons. Number one, it obviously lowers the guard, it taxes him, so on and so forth. You never know how drained Haney might be, making 135 pounds. But it also just might make Haney less likely to want to come inside and fight, of course, and this will allow for you to get a little more distance in that kind of Goldilocks zone for you, where it's not too far out, but he doesn't want to get too close. Then you could start using those angles, and this is where you really start to get your work done by stepping to the sides, around those shots, setting those traps, and landing your blow. But to get that going, you need to make sure you're staying busy on the inside. Now, in terms of my pick, while I give Loma a shot, I'm going with the champion in Devin Haney. It could have its closer moments, but Haney will lead far too much for Loma to make up any of the difference. Haney will jab very well, using that left hand to perfection, as Loma mostly fails to close the distance, certainly enough to win most of the round. On the inside, Loma might have his best moments, but Haney pretty good on the inside himself, and will use those skills to reset and keep the fight at the tempo, the pace, and the distance that he wants on the outside. Down the stretch, I can see Haney cruising to victory, as Loma has just too much ground to make up and is unable to do so, especially at the advanced age of 35. Winner, Devin Haney via unanimous decision. And in terms of the betting odds, you have Haney as a pretty sizable favorite, coming in at a minus 275, with Lomachenko coming in at a plus 200. To be honest here, not a huge deal of value in the Haney pick. I mean, if you can find someone, for example, who's looking at those odds and thinks, maybe I can give you 2-1, it's not terrible, but for the most part, you're creeping up on 3-1 in a fight where both guys are pretty skilled. Not the greatest deal of value. In terms of Lomachenko, I think, you're getting 2-1 as an underdog. Again, if you have a small bet you're willing to lose, because I do think he is kind of on the decline here at 35, technical fighters that use a lot of angle speed, things of this nature, tend to age progressively anyway. It's going to be one of those things where I do think you're getting decent enough value to maybe lay a smaller bet, but that's about it. In terms of the over-under, you have it set at 10.5, which is to be expected. It basically means, of course, this fight is expected to go the distance. Not a surprise here. You don't have two giant punchers in the ring. Of course, that naturally means it's going to end by a one-punch knockout in the second round or something. In any event, you have the over set at a minus 650 with the under set at a plus 400. Again, if you're looking for a long shot in this fight, really where the value is going to be in that under. I don't know how likely that is to happen. I think the odds makers would say it's not very likely. But if you wanted to lay a small to medium bet there just for funsies and kind of add some excitement to the fight, why not? In any event, those are your odds. And my prediction record is 15-6 with 10 exact, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one, your predictions, bets, so on and so forth. Do you think Lomachenko can pull off the upset here? You think Haney has it in him to stop him and really make a statement? Love to hear all your thoughts and answers on that down in the comments section below. Please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter, jcalderon_JOB. You can email me at junboxing@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you there. Also, be sure to check out junboxing.com for schedule, results, betting odds, rankings, news, grades, all that good stuff. And as always,